2 free throws for 60. A 60-point game for Kobe Bryant.
What a performance. What an exit for number 24. You couldn't have written this.
45-50, 45. There goes Davis. Oh, my God. Davis is going to run it all the way back. Auburn's going to win the football game.
Step back. Walker. Cardiac Kimba does it again. UConn wins at the buzzer.
Leading by 3 as Boone hits it to deep left. That might send the Yankees to the World Series. Boone, a hero in Game 7.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 5 of the Aspire podcast, where we aspire to inspire you. I'm your host Tyrese B, and we have 2 special guests today. Our guest is a 15-year-old, 2-time junior Olympic boxing champion, and her mother, who has managed, supported, and has written about her along the way. Welcome Jadah Robinson and her mother, Sheba Brown. How are y'all ladies doing today?
We're doing good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good, I can't complain. So let's start from the beginning. So where are you guys from?
Troy, New York.
Troy, New York.
Great, so you guys are from up north. I know it's getting pretty cold out there soon, so is it snowing out there right now?
Not yet. It's going to, though, very soon.
I would assume so, I know in the north it gets pretty cold up there, especially around this time of the year, so, I can't relate. I'm in Texas, so, things are pretty hot down here. But, so, yeah, let's get into, your childhood, Jadah. How was your childhood?
It was great. My mom, she was always by my side. Certain things happen where, the parents split up, and my mom, she was a single mom for a while, but she always held us down, like me and my siblings. It was never like a complaint out of her. It was never, I can't do this, I can't do that. Whatever she needed to do, she made sure she made it happen for us.
That's great. You definitely need a strong female figure, in the household. Mothers know best, But let's get into your sports career. So when did you decide to get in boxing, and did you have a sport in mind that you wanted to play before you got into boxing, or has it always been boxing?
Well, first it was basketball. Basketball was really for fun, probably a hobby and stuff like that. And then my godfather, William Tibbs, he took me into the Albany Cross Street boxing gym when I was 5 years old. And we walked in and I seen everybody hitting the bags and sparring and doing this and that and the third. And I just knew that I wanted to do it. I felt like it was something that I would be able to do. And that day we walked in there, I wanted to start. I'm taking my coat off. I'm like, come on. And it was like, no, we're going to start tomorrow. So I went home, got in the shower, and went to bed because I wanted tomorrow to come really fast because I really wanted to, start.
So Jadah, did you start boxing at the age of 5, right?
Yes.
So Sheba, what were your thoughts about your daughter, deciding to get in the sport of boxing? I know boxing is a very brutal sport, very combative sport, so what were your initial thoughts about her, deciding to get into the sport at a young age? Do you think it was a joke? Did you think she was serious?
Well, at that time, I really thought that it was a prank. I thought that she was going to start, and I thought that she would quit. And I didn't quite believe that she would just be moving forward. Because, boxing is a male-dominated sport.
Right. Okay. So, Jadah, since you started training at 5, when was your first official match in boxing?
7 years old. My hands were legally licensed and registered at 7 years old.
7 years old. Wow, that's crazy. I didn't even think about doing anything like that when I was 7 years old. I was too busy, playing video games or something like that. So what do you remember about your first match? Did you win? Did you lose? What do you remember from it?
It was an expedition match, which means it was just a fight for the rest of the fights to come up after that. But after that expedition match, I definitely knew that I wanted to continue to fight and do bigger things.
Wow, that's great. You really showed the drive at an early age that you wanted to be, one of the best in this sport. So fast 4 years later, you're 15 now with many boxing accolades, such as a 2-time junior Olympic champion, you're a 2-time silver glove champion, and a 2017 elite national silver glove champion. What was your favorite moment of your boxing career? Could you take us through it,
My favorite part is traveling and definitely like getting on the airplanes and meeting the other boxers and teams and stuff like that at the boxing matches, because sometimes like you might just need somewhere to go train and they'll be like, oh yeah, remember we met you, come down here with us, and they'll definitely open doors, especially in this time right now with coronavirus.
Right, right. Well, with that being said, Sheba, how did you feel about your daughter accomplishing so much in this sport at such a young age? After a sport that you didn't think that she was going to take seriously at the start.
It was crazy because at the end of the day, I never thought she'd go this far. I had thought that by the time she would be 8 years old, that she would actually quit. And I actually thought at 8 years old, she was going to quit, but then she moved forward. So it was just absolutely incredible to see her come this far, and, my brother, Samuel Bunch, who's her trainer, to actually see him get her to be to a place where she becomes the 2019 junior gold medalist. For me, that's incredible. And then named the best female boxer of 2019 at the Junior Olympic competition was amazing.
Well, like I said before, this is just a crazy thing, how much you've accomplished so far, and I know you got a lot more to accomplish. But let's transition to your boxing regimen. I interviewed a lady by the name of Alicia Doyle, who was a boxer, and she talked about her regimen, her training, and how crazy it was. So let me ask you, how many days you train a week, how crazy the training is for you?
I usually train 7 days a week, except for like on Sunday, so 6 days a week. Usually go in the gym after school. But with the pandemic right now, I'm training at home, or like I might go to a regular gym and like, hit the treadmill, do some regular things just to keep my cardio up and just to make sure I don't, lose what I started.
Right. That's understandable, but 7 days a week, that's crazy. And on top of that, you have schoolwork too. And, your mom told me, in other phone calls before this podcast that, you have a really good GPA, 90% GPA, in school right now. So with that being said, how do you balance it all? How do you balance, your personal life, school life, and boxing?
Well, my mom and my uncle Samuel Bunch, my trainer, they always tell me school is first. If you can't pass your classes, you can't go to school, then you can't box. So of course, with that being said, I have to make sure that I do good in school because I want to box.
Well, whatever you've been doing, it's been working. So just keep doing what you're doing for sure.
For sure. That's an interesting statement. That's what I told her. I said, however you got this thing, packed down, it's working.
For sure. It's definitely working. Just keep doing what you're doing. Because, if you're doing this at 15 years old, who knows where you'll be in 20 years down the road. You'll probably be exactly where you want to be if you keep this up. So.
It's
Can't
true.
wait.
So like I said before, you got a long career to go, a long way to go. What are your main goals, in boxing? What do you wish to accomplish? And also, if you have any advice for any boxers that are younger than you or older than you, what advice would you give them?
Well, first, always put your mind to, like, when you really want to do something, always put your mind to that thing. Like, have you ever like known somebody who wants to do one thing but also does other things and it messes up what they really want to do? I feel like if you just put your mind to that one thing, it'll all come together, because there's always going to be troubles and falls and ups and downs and stuff. But you have to be able to get through that, because when you really want to do something, you're going to strive, you're going to work hard to get to it. By the time I'm about 17, 18 years old, I do want to be a pro boxer. I do want to take my career to the next level. And I do want to be able to, give back to the community. I want to be able to give back to my family, take care of my family, and do what I need to do. Just as a person, like it's not even forced for me to do it. It's just choice, because I feel like a lot of choices will have an impact on people's lives, where then it'll all come back to me and it'll all just recycle itself. And if we all work together, and if like people like me or people change the way they see things or do things, that a lot of things can be fixed.
Wow, great answers. I like what I'm hearing from you. It seems like you know what you want to do, how you're going to do it. You got everything planned out. So, just follow the plan, stick to the plan, and everything will sell itself.
I think
Right?
that's important too. Yeah. It's important because I believe that a plan creates a strategy, and a strategy positions us to have vision, and the vision allows us to begin to work toward how we're going to make it come to pass. So with Jada in particular, we plan our weeks out. We know some weeks it might be 5 days of training, other weeks it may only be 3, some weeks it may be 4, and then other times if a fight is coming up, it may be 7. Jada trains at the gym and also trains at home. Her uncle, Samuel Bunch, who is her trainer, he just has a very high demand on her concerning her life of boxing. And she wants to make him proud. So in order for that to happen, there has to be a plan.
I 100% agree with you. You definitely got to have a plan, with anything that you do in life, because you know it's going to falter. So the fact that you guys, are sticking to the plan, and you guys have racked up so much accolades so far, it seems like the plan has been working. So speaking of accolades, I want to actually go through your accolades with you, Jada, if you don't mind. So you trained and met, boxing legend Roy Jones Jr.
Yes.
You were also on the issue of Slugfest magazine. You were on the front cover of Slugfest magazine, right?
Yes.
And on top of that, you were a part of, SI Kids. SI Kids was like a magazine that I was reading since 5 years old. And now I'm in college. So the fact that you were on that, at the age of 12 is crazy. Plus all the city nominations, all the stuff that you've gotten from the cities of Albany and Troy is also crazy as well as, too. So take me through all of those, accolades that I just mentioned. And, what was your favorite one, or what was your favorite moment throughout of all of them?
I feel like all of them are my favorite experience, because I feel like experiences are something that you should never, not per se forget about, but never like say that you didn't have. Like there's a whole bunch of people who would have an experience and they'll just put that experience aside just to get another experience. But I feel like all experience are important, because sometimes there's going to be a problem with an experience, and then there's going to be some good with an experience. But I feel like they're all lessons. I feel like they're all going to teach you something. And all my experiences have been great, regardless to if anything bad tried to happen. My mom, she made sure everything was just the best as it can be. My uncle, he made sure it was just the best that it can be. So everything has just been great.
Wow, that was a great answer. I agree with you 100% on that, for sure. So Sheba, let me ask you, how do you feel about your daughter Jada, accomplishing so much in such a short period of time? I know you must be very proud of her and all of her accolades that she's accomplished.
Incredible. Like I said, planning is very important, and I couldn't do this without the team. My brother, Spunk is the assistant trainer. She has other boxers on her team that, are pro, her cousin Jadah. So we collectively come together to make sure that the experience is good, even if it's bad, so to speak. So I always tell her, even if there's a loss, Muhammad Ali had so many losses, but yet he was still the greatest. So I told her, you got some losses, but yet you are still the lioness.
Yeah, that's great advice. We all go through our own trials and tribulations, our own personal losses. So the biggest thing is just, fighting the fight, getting back up after you get knocked down, and, keep pressing on.
Right. That was a great statement just now.
I appreciate that. Just learn from the best.
Thank you.
So Jada, let's talk about your involvement in the community. You've been very big in helping your community. You've held many events such as toy drives, feeding the homeless, and held barbecues for your city. Plus, you were a keynote speaker at the Young Women and Girls Educational Empowerment Summit in 2018. Could you elaborate on these things and why it's important for you to help and give back to your people and your community?
I always feel like giving back is just important. I'm a Christian, and the Bible says you reap what you sow. So I feel like if I'm giving and doing what I need to do for people who don't have what I have, I feel like it's gonna come back to me double fold, triple fold. And I feel like if I give to people who don't have what I have, maybe one day they'll see what I'm doing and try to get themselves back on track so that they have what I have. Like there's so many people with, without houses or food or money, but I feel like there's a whole bunch of able bodies, as in you're standing outside. A lot of people don't think about that sometimes, but I do. But that's why I give to people, because I feel like if I give to them, I hope that they're using what I gave to them right. I hope it's not for something that they're not supposed to be doing or something that is not good for them. I feel like I just hope it's for food, or probably for a hotel for the night, or probably for their family, So I definitely love giving back. I definitely love giving to the people who don't have what I have. I definitely love giving and trying to make things as best as possible for the people who are not as privileged.
That's good to hear, that you're giving back to the community, and the reasons why you're doing it is even better. Because I like to give back to the community. I like doing community service as well. Just being able to help somebody that's not in the same position I am, live a better life and have a better standard of life is something that I'm proud of, and I think a lot of people should do more,
Mm-hmm.
So Sheba, who came up with the idea to, start doing community service? Was this something that you instilled in her, or is this something that she came to and talked about?
The community thing started because she kept seeing this one homeless man who was a veteran. And she would say, "Mommy, stop. Let me just give him some of my allowance." And I thought that was peculiar, because kids don't give up their allowance. They just don't. They to go in your pocket and to take some of what belongs to you that you've worked so hard to earn makes you a peculiar kid, because most kids are not going to do it. And that's not a bad thing that they don't do it. But so what I did in retrospect, once she started doing that, I started teaching her about giving. And she would give away a pair of her sneakers, or she would buy another kid a pair of sneakers, or she would buy a couple of turkeys and buy toys and contribute to toy drives. She was buying water to bring to the homeless man every day. Every day that we would pass him on the bridge, I'd had to pull over. And what she would do is freeze the water to give to him, because he stood out in the hot sun, trying to get something just to survive. So there was some things and qualities that I saw in her in that area, because it's difficult to get kids to give.
That's true. A lot of younger people don't really know about community service, or really want to get in community service like that because they believe it's boring or a waste of time. But I think it's pretty cool that you got Jadah into it very early, and that she wanted to do it very early. So it will help other people see the same thing that y'all doing, and it will be a domino effect. People want to help just as much as y'all are helping. So I think that's pretty cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So let's stay on the topic of community service. So Jadah, now you were also a youth keynote speaker at the Women's Empowerment Summit in 2018. Could you talk about that experience? Was that something that you always wanted to do, or did they reach out to you to do that, or how did it come about?
Well, back to the community part, I was proclamated with Jadah Robinson Day in Albany, New York, and a whole bunch of people came, a whole bunch of children came, where I was giving toys, giving board games. My mom, she was on the grill. She had friends on the grill. She just had a lot of people helping out, feeding, the people who came around. And the mayor came, and so did Councilwoman Dorsey. And I guess they just saw what I had and how I really felt about how important it was to give back. And a week after, I believe so, my mom had got the email, and she told me, and I'm like really? Like, I was surprised, because it's like not everybody gets that opportunity. Like, not everybody gets to be on a platform with the mayor, and people might say like I'm making it more than what it is because she's the mayor, but I feel like even with the mayor, this will get out, and I'll one day be with the president. you know. But I seen where they were understanding and listening to how important it is to like be yourself, and I seen how they were listening to how important it is to just be young women, not be what you're not supposed to be being, you know. And I felt like when I was speaking, they really listened to me because I'm around their age group. I feel like we connected the most. I feel like they were all paying attention to, you know, what I had to say, and I feel like they were really respecting me, and I felt like they were really taking in the words I was saying. Like I just felt the connection with them. Me being a young woman myself, I felt the connection, and I just knew that I put a couple things in their lives or in their heart or in their feelings to where they're probably doing better than they were when they left.
You know, that's pretty impressive. Being able to talk in front of a big group of people and trying to shed light on a situation that not many people might not know or might not realize, and being able to change somebody's life positively, even if it's only one person, I think that's a win in my book, you know. So I think you did a pretty good job.
It's true.
So Sheba, what were your thoughts about your daughter, you know, speaking at this empowerment summit? I know you had to be very proud of her, you know, of her courage being able to go up in front of all those people talking about, you know, the stuff that y'all go through.
It very different. I was very proud of her, and just to hear her saying what she does to accomplish was very impressive, because she's still young, she's still learning. You know, I wrote 3 books for her because sometimes it's going to be tough. There's going to be challenges. I let her know you are the making of a champion coming up next, you know.
Right. And Sheba, could, if you don't mind, could you talk about those books, those 3 books that you've written so far for her?
One of the books that I wrote, this book is called The Instinct, and it is all about life winning opportunities, and opportunities sometimes come back around, but sometimes they don't. Her being the 2019 junior gold medalist in her weight class of 125, my brother, her uncle, Samuel Bunch, and the team, Samuel Young, Spunk, they all came together to make sure that she brought one of those medals back to our 518 area. The book that I wrote to her was Live by Instinct. I told her there's gonna be times when it's not gonna be about a plan. Sometimes you're gonna have to take your gut feeling, and you're gonna have to move on it. And I told her that a champion defines every emotion of mediocrity, and they win by instinct. They do not allow mediocre emotions to dictate their next move. Therefore, because of that, it's an opportunity for her to set a plan and execute. That's what my brother teaches her as her trainer. These are the combinations you're gonna throw. You're gonna go in full force. You don't have time to be waiting. You're gonna start it and you're gonna finish, and you're gonna finish as the winner. And so I'm very proud of her.
Okay, great. So that was just the first book, right?
That's just one of the book. There's 3 books in total. One is called The Making of a Champion. I don't have that one. And this book is just to let her know that there's times that you're going to feel like the wind is knocked out of you, like the Fury and Wilder fight, you know, and you're going to have to take your last breath, breathe out of your nose instead of your mouth. It's going to be a moment of reality. And in that moment, you have to set your plan. The ref is counting you out, and you're going to have to figure out how to get back up on your feet, and to remember to get up before the 8 count is over. And if you can get up, it will enlarge your possibility to win instead of fail. And so that's what this book is about. How do I get back up on my feet? I told her that the game of boxing is like a chess game. You're going to have to checkmate your opponent. And in that last round, you're going to have to steal the win, where not the judges make a decision, but where you made the decision and they say you are the winner.
Wow, that's some great messages behind those books. You know, I would definitely want to try to get some time to read all 3 of those books. So if you don't mind, could you tell the listeners where we could find those books and where we could purchase them at?
You can find these books at lulu.com. And the books, they're like $7.99. One is $15, one is $25. They're varying prices, but it's excellent book for anybody. It's not just about boxing, but we live our life by instinct. And so, as challenges come up, it's challenging to keep grades over 80. And it's challenging, because she's also working right now. She works for a clothing company called Fresh and Fly. And Angelo is one of her sponsors and also the owner of the company. And, whenever her schedule has to shift, he works with us to give her also the opportunity in the field of work, because she has future goals that she wants to do too.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I didn't know that you work for a clothing line. Could you elaborate on that, Jadah, a little bit?
Yes, Angelo, he's my boss. This is a Black-owned business, most definitely. He had this business for about 10 to 11 years now, maybe 12. He's been my mentor since I started boxing. Actually, I met him when I was about 6 years old, actually. So he's basically been like a godfather figure in my life, correcting me where I need to be corrected and coming to me as a male figure in my life. And I'm definitely grateful for him. I definitely love him, of course, like my godfather. And work is great. He tells you what he needs to tell you. He tells you what you feel you need to know. The clothing line is a beautiful clothing line. He's a great sponsor, and he does have a website. But yeah, there's a website, and you'll see all the clothing lines, and it's called Fresh and Fly. He has a whole bunch of logos and labels and stuff like that. And then he also supports like the other clothing lines. He does sell other clothing lines in his store. He keeps things, neat. He's very organized. He's just a great person. So I'm happy to be working for him.
Wow, that's lit for real. It's good to hear that a Black athlete is partner up with a Black, clothing brand, and hopefully, y'all guys can keep making business decisions, and y'all can keep, innovating, and hopefully y'all can grow and become big one day. So for a second, I just want to go back into women boxing for a quick second. I want to mention Alicia Doyle. She was the first person I interviewed. She was a women boxer back in the 90s. Shout out to her. She told me about her experiences during that time as a boxer and how women's boxing wasn't seen as the sport it is today. Of course, like the women's boxing sport, the sport of women's boxing was just recently added to the Olympics, I believe, in either 2008 or 2012. So my question to you is, do you believe that the sport of women's boxing has grown? Has it gotten better in popularity? And will you think it will continue to grow? What do you think about the sport of women boxing today?
So yeah, I met another woman boxer. Her name was Gail Grandchamp, and she explained to me, like you said, she was boxing later in times where they didn't really give the amount of money or like to a fight where they really didn't respect women. And she was telling me how she was able to do what she was doing and open doors for female boxing. And then that's when Clarissa Shields came in, T-Rex, she came up. Now there's, pro female fighters who are just arising out of nowhere, because there was probably a lot of backlash or judgment coming with it because it's a male dominated sport. But after Clarissa Shields came in undefeated, 9 belts, it can't get no better than that. I feel like once that happened, there was a whole bunch of doors open for any female fighter. I feel like she's a great inspiration. I feel like female fighters now, I feel like we do it better, honestly. I feel like we definitely do it better. I feel like we definitely going to pop out, and they gonna be scared. They're not going to be ready for us.
Hey, talk that talk for real. There's a lot of guy fights that I've seen that were not as good as the female fights. Female fights, show a lot more action sometimes than, their counterparts. So I hope one day, females will get as paid as much as guys in this sport, because it is a brutal sport, and, they work is just as hard as the guys do. So I believe one day, hopefully soon, y'all can get paid the bread that y'all are supposed to get paid, for sure.
Facts.
Yes.
So like I mentioned before, women's boxing just became a sport in the Olympics not too long ago, very recently. So I know your mom had told me that you were planning on being in the Olympics this year in 2020 in Tokyo, but due to COVID, it canceled the Olympics for this year and maybe for next year. I don't know when the Olympics will be, either in 2021 or 22. But with that being said, is the Olympics still something that you're looking forward to, and are you going to be competing in the next Olympics very soon?
Yes, after the fight in 2019, where I won this gold medal, there was another fight that came up before COVID hit, and it was in Louisiana, and I did lose that fight. And just to bring up this, a lot of people won't admit to losing a fight. A lot of people won't acknowledge them losing, but me, I have no problem with it. I tell it how it is. But yeah, I did lose that fight.
An opportunity comes again.
I did lose that fight, and I did come in second place as a Olympic alternate. So if anything would have happened to the girl that beat me, I would have stepped in her place. Before COVID hit, I was supposed to go to Colorado and train with the USA team, but it just shut everything down. Everything stopped, and we ain't know what to do. So all the gyms are closed, that's closed. You gotta wear masks, you gotta do everything now differently. And I definitely wanted to, travel that far. Like that's far. I really did want to, see what it looked like. I really did want to just experience that opportunity as it was, even if I brought home a silver medal, bronze medal, gold medal. I feel like just being there, being able to be in there, being able to meet new people, being able to weigh in, being able to put the gloves on is just amazing. So regardless to anything, if I just would have been able to go.
Well, it's so funny because in that particular fight, it was the first time that she had the experience at the Olympic Games. And what was interesting about it is at that time, there was a lot going on in a gym switch. So, there was interruptions in her training, interruptions in, how we were supposed to get ourselves ready and prepared for it. But the experience was phenomenal. And we didn't know for sure if they were going to choose her as an alternate or how it was all going to play out, but we were hoping that we would have an opportunity to say from Troy to Tokyo. But at that time, COVID hit, so we didn't know how things would or would not play out. But one thing we did know is despite the loss, she would definitely have an opportunity in 2021, 2022, whichever year it would be, to go and have that opportunity again. The experience was phenomenal. And I always tell her that a loss is always the opportunity to have another opportunity to win. So it's not over yet.
Well, first things first, like I said, you better than me. I couldn't tell people I lost the fight. I just ain't got it in me. I don't have it in me at all. But going to the COVID situation, like you said, COVID has been really bad. It's messed up a lot of things, especially in New York. New York was one of the first states hit. Am I right?
Oh,
yes.
It's hard.
Exactly. So I know like this situation wasn't the situation that you wanted to be in. I know you wanted to go to Tokyo this year. Hopefully you'll be able to go to Tokyo very soon. And whenever you go, I'll definitely be rooting for you. And hopefully you can bring home a gold medal.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Great. So let's transition into school for a second. So Jadah, what grade are you in? Are you in the 11th grade, 10th grade?
Yes, I'm in 10th grade.
Cool. So I know you have to be very popular in school, with all the things that you've accomplished in your career in boxing and just, other ventures. I know that you have to be very popular in the community as well. People might know you by word of mouth or just by, recognizing you on the street. So with that being said, with all this popularity and notoriety and limelight you received over the last couple of years, have you been used to it? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you rather just, stay out of the limelight, or is it something that you've been accustomed to now?
I like it. I like meeting new people. I like when people stop me and be like, hey, I saw you before. I like when I'm like wearing my medal or one of my jackets that have like my accomplishments on the back, and be like, oh wow, that's cool. Can we take a picture? Can we do that? Like, I have no problem with that. But I already know that as I get older, as I get bigger, it's going to be more than that. And I feel like I'm definitely prepared for what's coming with that popularity part.
That's good. That's good. It's good that you know that the popularity is only going to get bigger and up from here, especially as you know as you grow and get older in your career and in your endeavors. So I'm glad. It's glad to know that you're prepared for it, and hopefully, everybody will be able to see you grow. Also, I forgot to ask you this question earlier in the podcast, but I feel like it's a great time to ask you now. Who are your favorite athletes? Right now. It could be female, male, boxing, or non-boxing. Who are your favorite athletes, and who are some people that you look up to in the sports industry?
Oh, anywhere. For boxing, I got Javante Davis, Mayweather, Jadah Brown, Abraham Supernova, Clarissa Shields, Anna Fox, Gail Grandchamp. For basketball, I got LeBron, Kobe, rest in peace to him. I got
Roy Jones.
Oh yeah, Roy Jones Jr. for boxing too.
She says she team Roy Jones Jr. They sponsor her with their athletic clothing line called She Warrior.
Great. Is there a website that we could check out for She Warrior?
Yep,
Yes.
www.shewarrior.com.
Great. I'll make sure to put it down in the description below, and hopefully the listeners can go check it out. And also, since we're talking about bitches again, I also want to bring up that Sheba, you mentioned that there is a documentary that's being shot about you guys, about Jadah. Can you tell the listeners a little bit more about that? And will there be a release date for that coming out soon?
The documentary is being shot by a photographer and videographer named Mark Davis. And we can't talk about it too much because, we want it to be a surprise and, but we've been shooting, and hopefully in the next 6 months or so, that documentary will definitely be released about her life of becoming a champion, one brick at a time, building that life of boxing one brick at a time. And we're excited about it.
I'm excited for y'all. Can't wait to see the project. Can't wait to see the documentary come out. And let me know when it comes out so I can watch it and share it, with my followers and, any of the listeners that's watching. So I definitely want to tune in. And who knows, maybe this could open up a lot of opportunities for you guys in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah, we never know, what something will open up, and I think that it's important because a lot of times locally, we trying to put, Troy, New York on the map. Council president of Troy, New York, Carmelo, she says that some cities got the NFL, but we got Jadah Robinson. So we're excited about that.
Right. Y'all should be, because this is only another accomplishment that you can add to such a big list, a long list of accomplishments, including the proclamations that you've had. Like I said, it's just all been, it has to be a blessing from God for sure.
Yeah, Jadah has 6 proclamations, and she's only, she had 6 proclamations by the time she was 13 years old, and that's a great accomplishment.
Most definitely. You got the same amount of proclamations as Jordan has rings, so that's pretty cool. That's really cool, to be honest.
Amen.
Amen. Most definitely.
So once again, guys, I just want to thank y'all for coming on the show and blessing us with your presence. I want to thank you, Jadah, and your mom for coming on, and hopefully I can have you on once again in the future. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. We appreciate it.
Great. So we're getting towards the end of the podcast, and this is the point in time where we have our guests, talk about our future endeavors and where we can follow them throughout this time. So I just want to give you all the chance to talk about that, and the floor is yours.
Well, for the email, they can hit Sheba Talk, ShebaTalk @gmail. Also, her Instagram is Jadah Hands. On Instagram, they can hit her. And also, what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is Champ Robinson, Champ_Robinson. My Facebook is also Champ Robinson. And I think that's it. Oh yeah, and we also have a Facebook page called Jadah's World.
Yeah, and they can get through that by just looking me up under Sheba Brown on the Facebook.
Well, with that being said, all good things must come to an end. I want to thank my guests for coming on the show once again. I want to thank you listeners out there for tuning in to this week's podcast. Feel free to like, comment, and subscribe to all of our streaming platforms, and feel free to check out our website as well. We'll be having a new episode coming out in the next 2 weeks, but until then, stay safe and stay inspired.